The mnemonic surgeon's hands were steady as he wiped another rebel's memory. Same 24-hour block Lynx, third time this month. I shouldn't have seen that, and I definitely shouldn't have just discovered the hidden signal that makes them all want to forget. My name is Kai, and I'm a ghost in the machine of Neo-Kyoto. I see the city for what it really is, a prison of light and data, where corporations own the air you breathe and the thoughts you're supposed to have. My only power is that I can see the strings. Every data stream, every corporate ping, every whispered black market transaction paints the air in colors only my illegal neural interface can translate. I dive through them, a digital pickpocket, stealing credit chits from the bloated accounts of the elite to keep the rain off my own head. It's a lonely, paranoid way to live, but it's free. Or it was, until I saw Lynx walk into that back alley clinic. The mnemonic surgeon's parlor is a hole in the wall behind a leaking noodle stall in the Tang district. Neon reflects in the perpetual puddles, and the smell of ozone and fried dough is a cheap mask for the scent of sterile fear. I was perched on a rusted fire escape, data diving for my next score, when my filters flagged a familiar encryption pattern, augmented rebel frequency, but scrambled with a mnemonic-grade lockout. Curiosity is a luxury I can't afford, but it's also the only thing I have left. I tapped in. The surgeon's voice was a dry crackle in my audio feed. The procedure is clean, but the repetition isn't. Neural pathways can't handle this much targeted erosion. You're digging a hole in your own mind, Lynx. Lynx's reply was flat empty. Just wipe it, the usual block, the last 24 hours. Why? The surgeon asked, and I leaned forward, my heart a drum against my ribs. This was the question. This was the mystery walking around on two legs. Don't ask questions you price for answers, Lynx said, his tone final. A transfer ping flashed in my vision, a significant amount of untraceable crypto. Then the soft, terrible hum of a cortical buffer being formatted, a life or a day of it turning to static. I watched Lynx leave 5 minutes later, his gait slightly uncoordinated, his eyes scanning the neon-drenched street like he'd never seen it before. He was a ghost of himself, haunted by a memory he chose to kill over and over. That's when my own gear picked up the residual trace, a data echo, clinging to Lynx's personal network like a scent. It was faint, a ghost packet my software barely registered, programmed to self-destruct milliseconds after delivery, but I caught a fingerprint, a unique repeating encryption signature. This wasn't random, this was a trigger. For 2 days I followed him. Not in person, that's a good way to get your own implants fried by rebel security, but through the digital breadcrumbs everyone in this city leaves behind. Public transit logs, commissary purchases, anonymized location pings from the city grid. I mapped his life, a sad, circular pattern of low-level agitation against the corporate zones, followed by periods of blank, quiet despair. And then, every time, a trip to that specific data kiosk on the edge of the Ether Plaza. The kiosk was nothing. A public information terminal, one of thousands, its screen flickering with municipal announcements and corporate ads. But every time Lynx passed it, exactly 47 minutes later, he would access a black market medical fund and then walk straight to the mnemonic surgeon. The correlation was 100%. The kiosk was the catalyst. So tonight I'm going to intercept the signal. It's a stupid, reckless, potentially mind-breaking plan, but the question is a hook in my brain. Why would a rebel, someone fighting to remember the truth, pay to forget? What is in that ghost packet? The plaza is nearly empty, the artificial rain keeping sensible citizens indoors. I find a shadowed alcove, my fingers flying across the haptic interface on my wrist. I override the kiosk's public feed and plant my own sniffer program, a delicate data web designed to catch the ghost packet without triggering its self-destruct. My breath fogs in the cold air. Minutes tick by. Then a blip. The packet arrives, a silent bullet of encrypted data meant for Lynx's neural address. I reroute it. My sniffer net holds. For a second, nothing. Then, a searing, beautiful light floods my mind. It's not a command, it's not a virus. It's a memory, but it's not mine. Warmth, a profound, weightless peace. The feeling of a hand in yours, not just skin, but a sense of total, understood connection. The sound of laughter that feels like home. A perfect 10-second moment of pure, unadulterated joy and safety, so intense it brings tears to my physical eyes. It is the most beautiful thing I have ever experienced. And then it's gone. The memory evaporates, leaving a crushing, hollow ache in its place.